My name is Tom, and I'm the founder of EPIC, a nonprofit with the mission of disrupting and dismantling the sex trafficking industry. In the 9 years since EPIC began, I've learned firsthand from sex trafficking survivors that rebuilding their lives is an arduous journey. I've also learned that Indigenous women are 2.5 times more likely to be subject to sexual violence than any other women in America, and that they face murder rates more than 10 times the national average. I decided to do something to raise awareness around our most vulnerable population. That's why I created the Hard Road campaign. I'll be biking 1,000 miles from Washington to Montana with the goal of raising $100,000 in support of EPIC and our partners at Innovations Human Trafficking Collaborative, an Indigenous survivor-led social justice nonprofit. Join me in September by donating, sharing the message, or riding along from your home. Together we can help make the hard road for survivors a little easier.
What's up, guys? Lauren here from Ride My Road with
Tom Perez from the EPIC Project.
Trolling me on my intro already. Thanks for joining us, guys. Today we're here to interview Tom Perez about the hard road. We have some questions for him from the internet, and the internet. And today was actually the final day, final day of the hard road. We're going to talk about that. But first, the questions from the internet. So, Tom, the people at Ride My Road know you as a charity partner for us with the stuff that we do in the motorcycle world. Yeah. But you did this journey on a bicycle. Why? Why pedal when you can have a motor?
I was asked that quite a few times. The main reason for that is the hard road was a tribute to the struggle that survivors endure in putting their lives back together when they exit this life, and there's nothing more painful than a bicycle ride. So it was just it was a way symbolically to stand in solidarity with survivors. Yes, a motorcycle would have been a lot easier, but it would not have been a hard road. It would have just been a really fun road.
Right. Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. But also, you've mentioned to me before that you fell in love with bicycles when you were 5 years old. One of my earliest memories.
I think sometimes that defines people when you can say my earliest memory is this. So one of my earliest memories as a kid was the day I learned to ride a bicycle. It was actually the day after I learned to ride a bicycle, because what I remember is how scabbed up and sore I was, because I fell all day long. But I was just ecstatic that I could finally, go anywhere. It was like I could go anywhere in the world now. Sorry, I keep moving that around. I get excited because I like bicycles.
Yeah, so you can go anywhere in the world.
Yep.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, for people watching, mostly everybody knows what the hard road entailed, which was a 1,000-mile journey. And you were out there for how many days?
15 days,
and
start to finish.
What was the hardest day?
The hardest day was about halfway in. I went from, basically up a road called Lolo Pass, which is on the Idaho-Montana border, and it was that day the route was 96 miles. It was uphill the entire day, and the first half of the day was actually just glorious. It was a little bit of an uphill grade, but nothing too bad. No wind. I'm riding along the river. I think it was the Clearwater River, and it was just beautiful. But about halfway through the day, so with about 50 miles to go, I came around a corner, and it was just a windstorm. And it was so, I don't know how fast the wind was blowing, but it was blowing fast. And if at one point, literally, I lost momentum. I was trying to pedal, and my bike was not moving. I had to get off and walk at that point. And it was also blowing hard enough to blow trees down.
Oh my gosh.
As I was going, but it's a wilderness area. It's a Selway Bitterroot wilderness area, and there's not even any houses. I mean, I was prepared to camp in an emergency, but I didn't know how I was going to pitch a tent with the wind blowing like that. So that was by far the hardest day. It was, yeah, like I told you earlier today. Maybe no, it wasn't you. I don't know if I told you. I cried. At the end of the day, I cried because it was so hard. I was relieved that I had done it, but it was just like emotionally, mentally, it was excruciating.
You know, when I was on the road on a motorcycle, I had a couple of hard days, and nothing like that because I wasn't pedaling, but I did have those moments when I cried. I mean, I cry all the time, you guys know, but
Yes, you do.
I do.
I don't.
Yeah, so that's saying something
Yeah.
if you cried. But I really did draw on the stories of survivors. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that that's what happened.
Yeah, literally, that's what happens. Like I several times during that day, and other days too, because that wasn't the only difficult stretch. But yeah, it's like you just what I drew from that is, and I think this is true of the survivor friends that I have. There are days where you just hunker down and you like it's just one pedal stroke after the other. It's one step after the other. It's one small thing after the other, and you just kind of keep your head down and keep plodding away, and so that's what I was doing on that day and several other days too. And the coolest thing is you eventually get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
So,
It's those end of the days when you realize what you just did.
oh yeah.
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 Man. All right. So, I mean, that was your hardest day, but I also want to mention you rode through the smoke from the fires.
At the end, yeah.
You had 100-degree days.
Yeah, we went. Temperature went from 100, and I think our hottest stretch was 103 to 23. The day after my rest day up on the mountain, it was 23 when I left, and I still had my sandals on.
Well, you also got dehydrated and
Yeah.
dangerously so.
Yeah, I when I got to cooler weather, I realized I had been consuming 200 ounces of water a day, and but when I got to the cooler weather, you forget because you're not really hot, and I got dehydrated. I made it worse by having a beer with dinner and taking a pain pill for my shoulder that night, and so I woke up just sick as a dog for about 6 hours. I couldn't even really sit up.
Well, that's really dangerous, so we're glad you're okay.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned your shoulder and sandals, which the internet wants
Does it have anything to do with it?
the internet wants to know
Who
about.
is this internet guy, and why is he so nosy?
So sandals. Please tell us about the sandals.
In my training, this is just how old guys roll. In my training prior to the ride, I did some damage to my toenails. I was losing my toenails, and so they make sandals specifically for bicycle touring. So they're just typical old guy sandals, and they work great until it was 23 degrees.
So you rode in your sandals for hundreds of miles?
Yeah, I eventually stopped, and as the weather was getting colder, I had to stop in Missoula, and I bought some normal shoes.
The real question, though, did you wear socks with
Oh,
the
yeah.
sandals?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Because I have the legs for that. I can totally pull that off.
Okay, you heard it here, guys. Tom has the legs for that. Okay, but your shoulder, that was a little bit more serious.
Well, I didn't know it at the time. Yeah, I had nothing to do with riding. I tore my rotator cuff working on a home project, and it was worse than I thought. So the whole trip, I couldn't really sleep well. I wasn't, I'd sleep, I don't know, 5 hours a night on a good night, and not well, because I kept waking up because of the pain. So yeah, that was the bummer. But when I was on the bike, I had no pain.
That's amazing. That's just, I don't know. I've heard how painful that is.
It was pretty painful.
Oh man, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your favorite moment on the road?
My favorite moment was I was checking into a hotel in Missoula, Montana. I had just gotten into Montana, and I was tired, but it was a good day. But I was tired. Just like every day, I just kind of wanted to get checked in and just take a shower and relax. And I walk outside, and there's this huge guy that's kind of looking at my bike, and my bike's a really nice bike, and oh man, he's like, is he trying to steal it or what? And he just looks at me and he goes, "It's a hard road, eh?" And yeah, whatever. And I grab my bike and I go to go to my room, and I walking across the lobby, and I feel this presence behind me, and I turn around, and it was my little brother, who had driven in his motorhome 20 hours nonstop from Kansas City to surprise me, and with a couple of really good friends. And so for the second half of the trip, I literally had my own rock star tour bus, and it was just fun because I got an unexpected week hanging out with my little brother.
What's cool about your little brother is he's like way bigger than you.
Yes, I'm the
He's
run
your
to
big
the litter.
little brother.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that was so nice just to have that support
And just the company.
Yeah.
Just the company. He and his friends that I've known him for a while. They would stop halfway through every day, and they'd have lunch, and I'd just pull over and it just feed me, and so yeah, I was spoiled in that sense. And then just at the end of the day to have guys to hang out with,
Yeah.
it was really fun.
and somewhere comfortable to sleep and not in your tent
Yep.
with a torn rotator cuff.
Yep.
Oh, on the ground.
Yep.
Thank goodness for Chris,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so today was a big day. What did we do today?
Today we gave the proceeds of the hard road that we were going to share with our partner organization, Innovations Human Trafficking Collaborative, up in Olympia, Washington. So I got to do the big check. I guess we don't have it with us because she wouldn't let me take it home. Yeah, so we handed Jerry, who's the director of that organization, and we handed her a check for $44,000, which was half of what we raised for this event. So it went to survivors, which is that's where we started 10 years ago. Really, just almost exclusively just working to support survivor organizations, and so to celebrate 10 years, it was really exciting to do that again.
It's amazing. We had a great day with Jerry,
Yeah.
and we'll be posting pictures and stuff so you guys can see Jerry's reaction in seeing that $44,000
Yeah.
check, because she didn't know that's what you were giving her.
No.
Yeah. So part of that $44,000 was part of the total. Do you have a grand total?
The total was $97,000.
$97,000.
Our goal was $100,000, and that was really ambitious in a non-COVID world. But we have some just scandalously generous people that got behind this work and made it happen. And it wasn't, it was a lot of people that donated, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, a lot of the people who did donated will be watching this
Yeah.
video.
Yep.
So we'd like to know, what do you want to say to those folks who contributed and made that $97,000 possible?
I'm so grateful. I'm grateful on a professional level, just to be able to do that and make a really meaningful contribution to this work. I'm grateful on a very personal level, because I think I talked about this. I know I did several posts on social media before the thing started. I talked about tailwinds and what a blessing having it when you're riding a bicycle, having a tailwind. Just how sublime it is. It feels like your effort is being multiplied every pedal stroke, and so that's what you all did. You were our tailwind, and we we're just really, really grateful. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, and it was incredible for Ride My Road to be a part of that. So, of course, thank you to all of you guys for supporting Ride My Road through this, and to the Epic Project for choosing us as a fundraising sponsor. So exciting, and really life-changing just to see what you did, how many people got behind you, the effects that it's going to have on this org, Innovations Human Trafficking Collaborative. I mean, it's really awesome. So my last question for you is, the 2020 Hard Road was obviously a success. 2021?
We're coming for you.
Is that all you're going to say?
No. I want to share, this is what has happened to me personally. I am an evangelist for people I want to convince people to put some crazy goal out in front of themselves and just go for it. And what makes it even more meaningful than just accomplishing the goal is when that goal benefits someone else. So next year we will do the hard road again, but we're gonna distribute this vision more kind of across the country, and it'll be the basic idea remains the same. People that participate will make up their own hard road, and you can how do we say it? Two wheels or 2 feet or two paddles, two legs, whatever. You can ride it, you can run, you can walk, you can get in a canoe and paddle. The idea is just pick a road, make a road that's hard for you as a way to stand in solidarity with survivors. And we'll give you more details as far as when we want to coordinate all of this. But we want to do this in at least 6 of our 14 epic cities across the country next year.
Yeah, so if you guys are interested in that, maybe we can add some more cities.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, you guys are all invited, so
Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah.
All right.
You don't have to wear sandals, but I probably will.
But if you do wear sandals, you also
Socks.
have to wear socks.
Socks, yes.
We should get some hard road socks.
Oh, that would be so good.
I'm a genius.
That would be so good.
All right. Well, thank you, Tom, for
You're
this chat. We are just, like I mentioned before, really honored to be a part of this, and want to thank all of you guys for donating and contributing. And,
Yes. Thank you.
yeah, and we'll see you next year for the hard road. In the interim, we have a lot of other stuff going on, so stay tuned.